Hello everyone, Steven here with Cardboard Coalition, and today I figured I'd bring you a playthrough of Point City from Flatout Games in AEG. This is a 15 to 30 minute game, 1 to 4 players, and it takes 10, or it's for ages 10 plus. It doesn't take 10 plus, it's for ages 10 plus. If you guys want to catch me in the top view, I will show you how to play Point City. Alright, welcome to the top view. The first thing that you want to do during setup is you want to create your draw pile, and you do that by separating all the cards in their different piles, right? And the way you do that is they have little dots. So here's your ones, these would be your twos, and then you have your threes. All right, you can also see by the color code. Now in the book, where's the little book? Here it is. Oh, dropping things out of it. In the book, it'll give you a little chart, tell you how many cards to pull out depending on what you're looking at. So if we're going to set this up for 4-player, which we're going to, we're going to go ahead and take one card out of the first player, right? And then we're going to give it a good shuffle, right? And then set it down. Then for the twos, we're going to go ahead and take out 2 cards, 1, 2. We're going to give it a quick shuffle. And then we're going to set that down. And then we're going to take the third deck, the threes, and we're going to take 7 out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go ahead and set that down. Now what you want to do is you just want to stack them, just like this. 3s at the bottom, then 2s, oops, then 1s. And that creates your draw pile. Once you have the draw pile ready, you go ahead and make a 16 card grid, so a 4x4 card grid, and you go left to right, top to bottom. Once your grid's formed, then you want to go ahead and take the civic tokens, which we have right here, if we cannot make a mess, and you mix them up really good. And you want to keep 14 of these for a 4-player game. So 10, 12, 14. The rest of these tokens, not needed. You just go ahead and throw them back in the box. All right, once you have your civic tokens, go ahead and flip them over so they're face up and everyone can see them. After that, grab the amount of, you'll see these are dual-sided. These are starting ingenuity cards. Always make sure you have this one with that little person symbol, no matter how many you have. But as I said, this is a 4-player. Go ahead and shuffle them if you want. And you randomly pass them out to each player at the game. Once you do that, they flip them over and you try to figure out who your first player is by finding the one with the person. So this would be our first player. The last thing you could do for setup, and it doesn't have it in the book, but they do mention they give you these tokens, right? You have resource side, and building side. And you go ahead and put those out, and it's so you can remember who flipped what card, and it does come in useful, I can tell you that from playing. The other thing that I would put out is the turn order, and this also has the setup. It's a quick guide to setup on the back, but what's interesting to us right now, or more important, is this turn order. You can go ahead and set that out for everyone to see. All right, Point City is a pretty fast-paced point gathering, point salad, point city kind of game, right? You're building a city and it's supposed to go fairly fast. So let's go ahead and go through everything that you do on your turn. The first thing that you do on your turn is, and this is optional, is if there's a row or a column that does not have a building showing, you may flip a building. In the case of the first player, we're going to go ahead and say first player is over here. Let's switch those for now. The first player is going to go ahead and pick any 2 orthogonally, right? Adjacent orthogonally, any 2. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take that optional step and I'm going to flip one. Let's flip this one. Boop. There we go. Once we flip that one, then we can go ahead and pick up 2 cards. It doesn't have to be connected to this card. I can pick up 2 down here or whatever. Just remember that they're orthogonal. But for purposes of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this card and this card. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and look at your hand and see if you can build your building. So this building as you can see, it shows us that it needs a cog, which is industry, and it needs, I believe that's energy. Yep, industry and energy. Well, we have an energy card, but we don't necessarily have a industry card. But this card, integrity, I always call it integrity, ingenuity, can be any of the resources. So by discarding these two cards, we can go ahead and build this building, right? Now, what it does by building these buildings, we can go ahead and talk about this really quick, what you have on the card. This is what it gives you. So this would give you an economy, one economy for building buildings later on, right? Then there's nothing else there. But we do have other cards, and those other cards would be things like points or civic. This is what gives you the civic tokens. So you can go ahead and build your building. The next thing that you can do is if you've built a building that's a civic card, like if we had built this card, then we would be able to buy any or take any of these civic tokens. Sometimes there's just points on here. Other times it tells you 1 point for every wild card, things like that. So you'll get 5 points for one of each cards, 2 points for every green, so on and so forth. So if I built a civic building or with that civic symbol, then I can go ahead and grab one of these tokens and add it down here. The last thing that you would do on your turn is you would fill in the gap, and you start from top, you start left to right, top to bottom. And this is where these tokens do come in handy. This time they were both resources that I flipped. They weren't both resources. Let's flip into what they were. It was a building and a resource that I took from here. So this lets me know, so this is why it's good to use those tokens, that I took a building and I took a resource. So if you fill in a building spot, you fill it in with a resource. If you took a resource, you go ahead and fill it in with a building. Play keeps going like this until there are no cards left to grab. Once these are all gone and you need to fill up a spot, so let's go ahead and take, I don't know, this and this out. If there's no cards left to draw from and it's empty, that is the end of the game. Then you start counting points. So in-game scoring works pretty simple. The first thing you do is you want to look at any points that you have on cards, right? Then you want to look at any points you would make off the civic tokens. And the tokens do things like this. 3 points for every pair. I would get 3 points there. Or you have something like this. It's 4 points, types with 4 plus. That has 6. I think that would be the only one that would get it. Oh, so there would be 8 points. I would get 8 points for these two cards because there's 4 plus. Once you add all those points together, then you find the winner of the game. If there's a tie in points, you see which player has the most resource cards. That player becomes the winner. If there's still a tie in points, then the victory is shared. And that's how you play Point City from Flatout Games and AEG. Now, this is a 1 to 4 player, takes 15 to 30 minutes, and it's for ages 10 plus. I hope you guys enjoyed the How to Play. I'm Steven with Cardboard Coalition, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.